Watch that dial.
Well, the Syracuse Foodie community sure has lots to choose from in the downtown area, but the newest, Dolce Vita, is getting some pretty good word of mouth lately.
Each month, Chef Jason Jessmore presents a new menu of authentic dishes from around the world to delight all of his growing fans.
Growing, literally.
Growing fans.
You're going to become a fan, too. Hi, Chef Jason.
It's nice to see you, my dear. We've heard so much. Actually, we've eaten down at Dolce Vita and heard a lot of good things about it. Yeah. And your menu, it changes all the time. Tell us about that.
We have a staple menu that we keep. It's actually a new one starts tonight. Then we have an international menu that we change once a month. It's an appetizer and entree from 3 different countries.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. What has been the most popular, or everybody just likes to come in and try different things?
They like to try different things. Right now we're doing Malaysia, Colombia, and Poland. The Malaysian dish has been very popular.
That's pretty funky little grouping. What do you throw a dart at a map?
I was going to say.
I pointed at a computer screen.
We'll do Malaysia, we'll do Poland. Wow.
And you know, I got to say the atmosphere in Dolce Vita is just, it's really cool. I mean, a neat bar and just a nice restaurant. And
it's comfortable. It's
nice. Very, very nice. All right, well, what are we going to make today?
Today we have a little ancho rubbed Mahi-Mahi. And we're going to start out with a little sesame oil in a smoking hot pan.
Smoking hot.
Smoking hot.
Now we're going to throw in a little soybean oil too. Soybean oil has a higher smoking temp, so it'll kind of help dilute the sesame oil.
All right.
Oh, okay, I got to remember that.
And you start out, like you said, with a hot pan.
Very hot pan.
Hot pan, okay. I'm going to put this in. Love a little mahi-mahi. Now, you guys obviously do a lot of fish dishes, I would think. That's always very popular.
We do. We're on a Sea to Plate in 48 program. Within 48 hours of the fish coming out of the water, it's in the restaurant.
Wow.
Holy cow. And we're not really located near a lot of main oceans, so that's pretty impressive.
We get a lot of fish from Hawaii. So.
All right. Not the Finger Lakes area.
Not so much.
Not so much the Finger Lakes, okay.
Not a whole lot of mahi-mahi down on
Seneca
Lake,
probably
Amy.
Not. Okay, so we're cooking this on a high temp.
Nice high temp.
All right.
Of course, you got to watch out for the splatter.
All right, and when you go into like the seafood place, you just say, I'd like a mahi-mahi fillet, or what do you have?
I get a phone call from a purveyor on Mondays, and then I order for the week, so I can get fish in 6 days a week. So.
And that's really, do they say, you know, this is really good this week, and you should make a dish around that, so that kind of helps you with the menu as well?
To a point, you know, you get a lot of, due to the earthquakes and the tsunamis, or, you know, hurricanes and whatnot, your fish prices.
Really? Isn't that interesting? Boy, I didn't even think about that.
And here's one for you, a full moon will make fish prices skyrocket.
Really?
The glare from the moon drives the fish deeper.
Isn't that something?
Are you making that up, Jason, just to impress us?
I found out when fish went up.
The guy who sells Jason the Fish is making it up. Very interesting.
So then we're going to turn it over here. I never can make a good fish at home. I think you have
to
leave it up to the professionals. That's probably it. People probably cook it too long.
Yeah, you know, you want to cook your fish about a medium well top. You know, you still want it to be, it doesn't have to be cooked all the way through.
Right, okay. And that's why when people say, you know, tuna, would you like it rare? And I think a lot of times customers probably say, what? But that's when it's the best.
Yeah, you know, tuna's one of those things too. At a lot of restaurants, they don't take a temperature on it because they serve it rare to medium rare because that's when it's at its best.
Right. So don't be scared if it's pink inside. It's supposed to be.
All right. That sounds good.
Boy, this smells wonderful.
It really does.
We just are going to be eating up a storm after this show.
I know. We got Girl Scout cookie salad, and now we're going to have some mahi-mahi.
That's what you have to do. You have to develop something around Girl Scout cookies next, Jason. Work on that.
I do
speaking of, do you have a lot of good desserts there?
Yep, we got some desserts going on. Going to start getting back into our tiramisu that I make. That's
good stuff.
Very popular.
Awesome.
People really like that.
Good stuff. And I always feel like if I have fish for dinner, I can have dessert. Because it was kind of a, you know, a little give and take.
Now, you're kind of located kitty corner to Syracuse Stage on East Genesee Street. Do you get a lot of theater goers when the shows are going on?
A lot of stuff for people for the museums. When Wicked was playing, we got a lot from there.
SU players coming down after a big game?
We get a lot of the fans from the SU game,
Wonderful. Well, always nice to have a new restaurant to try. But actually, you guys have been around now. When did you open?
June 8th.
Wow.
So yeah, so
it's almost a year.
Boy,
beautiful.
That first year they say is the toughest.
Yeah, we've been very happy, you know. We're going to get busier and busier. So.
Beautiful.
All right, we got to plate this sucker up here.
Yep.
Very, very nice. Ooh.
Now we have some white rice with some ginger chips on there, just fresh sliced ginger.
Nice.
I would never think about that. That's why you're chef, Jason. Very nice.
Now we have a little cucumber salad with fresh red peppers, red onions, cilantro, and rice vinegar. We just let it sit for a couple hours.
Rice vinegar, okay.
Yeah. We're just going to go right on top of the fish.
It's always in the presentation, too. You know, it's always neat to get something that looks like a work of art when you come out to the restaurants.
I know. That's half the fun of seeing the food.
So we got our little vinegar. We got our little spice from the fish. little balsamic reduction just for a little extra color on the plate.
Ted, I want you to go home and make this now for the lovely wife.
You know, she would be floored.
This does not look like it's that difficult.
We have a little nectar, a little pure sweetener.
All right.
Agave nectar. Okay.
Yeah,
He got this on his trip to Malaysia. He was there getting some recipes.
And we're just going to give a little drizzle over the fish. This fish has a little spice, and then the vinegar salad.
Oh,
wow.
Look at that.
Very nice.
Awesome.
And voila, huh?
Jason,
Beautiful.
very, very nice. Thank you. Dolce Vita. We'll definitely try that again. Again, a different kind of a twist on a menu.
Yeah, I know.
You can get all your old favorites and try some new ones.
There you go. Dolce Vita's newest menu offerings at Dolce Vita World Bistro. You can check them out online at dolcevitabar.com. And after we filled our stomachs, it's time to fill your ears.
Right after the break, Mark Zane will fill your soul with a little bit of local music. WCNY Connected will be right back.
Check out WCNY Connected with us, Ted and Amy.
Thursday nights at 9 on WCNY.